I'm excited because this is the first time we've gotten to connect in a while, Ryan. And then the other reason I'm excited is because it's one of our favorite video games.
Every time, Phil.
Dude, this game, man, like,
Every time you talk over the intro.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ben.
It's so funny. No, it'd be very. I was actually going to tell Ryan that at the start. I bet Phil talks over it. That's very on brand.
I'm sorry.
No, I honestly expected it, so it's okay.
that's perfect.
It makes it that much better. I guess that's a great time to start. Hello and welcome, everyone. Welcome along to Please Be Excited Plays, the finale of Please Be Excited Plays. I'll be your host today, Ben, at Please Be Excited. With me, we have two amazing guests that are joining us to play through Hollow Knight. We won't play through the entire game, but probably a good portion of it. So first off, you might know him from Baby Shark. You'll probably know him from Final Fantasy VII Remake and Genshin Impact. It's the one and only Ryan Colt Levy.
Oh, hello.
How you doing, Ryan? You good, buddy?
I'm doing well, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh yeah, dude. I love this game, and I love you. So this is gonna be a blast.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Yeah, this is going to be a good time. And of course, I had to get you on for the Hollow Knight one because I know how much you love it. And obviously, with Silk Song hopefully happening at some point this year, still fingers crossed.
Dude, please let it be. I really have hopes. I have hopes it's gonna drop.
That's going to be awesome. Yeah, I can't wait. And the other special guest that we have today is the one, the only. It's hashtag Get Phil in a video game. It's Philip J. Woodward. How you doing, Phil?
Hey, everybody. I'm doing very well. How are you doing today, Ben?
I'm doing great, buddy. I'm doing great.
I gotta say, I love this this little splash screen that you put together with the
pretty
dance
cool,
and
right?
Hollow Knight, and
Yeah, it's pretty magical.
Very rad. I love it. All right.
I see that the Penny Marvel's in the chat.
Yo!
I just want to say, you're pretty good.
Hoodie, what's up, buddy? Oh, good. Well, let's get into it, shall we? So I'm just going to do some fun stuff with OBS so we can get this working here. Tick, tick, and then...
All the fun stuff with OBS. I am such a novice with all this tech stuff. I'm still learning so much as I go, man. It's been fascinating learning how to stream in general.
That's quite the experience, to learn OBS. That's a lot, but no, it's fun.
Many nights I was on YouTube just watching videos like tutorials and things like, please lead me by the hand.
Now, the main reason I really wanted to do a Hollow Knight one is, I think I told you this, Phil, before, but I love the art style, I love the gameplay. I played it for about an hour or so and I just got really lost. So we've got the pros here, the Hollow Knight pros. So I'd love to know from you, Ryan, firstly, what's your history and experience with Hollow Knight?
Oh man, I first played it a little over 2 years ago. It was one of those things because I got the Switch kind of late, and I was playing through a lot of different games at the time that were more of the standard ones to play through, Breath of the Wild and Odyssey and all that stuff. And I wanted a different flavor, and I kind of just I didn't know anybody who'd played Hollow Knight yet, so I just kind of looked at it, saw the artwork, and immediately was like, okay, I'm into this aesthetic. And it was a relatively cheap game to just take a gamble on, so I was like, screw it, it was $20 or something, and instantly fell in love with the mechanics and just everything about it, and very quickly was like, oh, this might be the greatest game of all time. And I beat it about 2 years ago now. Yeah, I went straight through. I lived with it for months, and I tried to get through most of the DLC. At a certain point, it just punished me to the point of it's still there on my my Switch. That file's open, but I've since restarted it myself, and I'm loving it all over again.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I see Andy Cortez has been playing for it, and man, those clips are hilarious.
I saw. Oh yeah, dude, he's playing through the Path of Pain right now. That's the stuff. I tried that, and I was like, nope, not gonna be for me. I can't handle that kind of stress.
And Phil, what's your history of the game, buddy?
So I actually saw a streamer playing through Hollow Knight back when it was PC only, and I decided to pick it up, first, of course, I went to the Googles and I was like, Switch version now, please. And they, they said that it was coming out, but it wasn't out yet, and it was coming, and I think that was 2017. And then, of course, we didn't end up getting it until 2018. But I couldn't help myself from playing through it on PC. So I ended up buying it on Steam and playing through it. I don't remember if the DLC was out yet when I first played it, but I went through and didn't know about all the kind of secret stuff, and I knew I was going to play through it again on Switch, so I just kind of like played through and just kind of had fun with it. And I think I got about 70-ish% of the way through, and then the Switch version came out, and then I started playing exclusively on the Switch because I could play it anywhere. I could play it on my lunch break. I could play it, in bed, which was my favorite. And then that I beat.
Beard is pretty good, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Shout out to Beard.
So I beat it on the Switch. I did every single thing I could do except the DLC boss. I can't remember the Grim Troop boss. So I ended up doing the Grim Troop quest the other way, where you don't defeat the boss. And then
I didn't know there was another way to do it.
Oh yeah. I don't want to spoil it for people, but I'll tell you off stream if you want.
Interesting. Me and a buddy had to tag team through that whole section. We just took turns.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so the Grim Troop boss was just a little bit out of my league, and then I decided to just keep pressing forward. So I beat the game and then realized, oh, that's not the actual ending. So then I looked up online, like, what to do, and then I completed the rest of these objectives for getting the real, quote-unquote, real ending. And then I to this day, I'm still sitting on that boss. And
So you haven't beaten it?
I haven't beaten the good ending, no. Like, just like the Grim Troop, like, I am stuck on that final boss.
Yeah, no, it's super tough. It's super tough. It's interesting because, like, these kinds of games, I, oddly enough, really like playing them with friends. And this was very much in the before times, so you could play it with friends and have them just come over to your house. And how antiquated that is now. And my buddy, whose name is Joe Cool, believe it or not, that's his actual name.
Awesome.
He's just like, he's a nasty game player. He's one of those guys who, like, he's just really good. Like, he just commits to a game and just gets scary good at it. So he just come over for like a few hours and we'd play through, like, chunks at a time, and then kind of pause it and, like, maybe I'd do a little bit more on my own in certain spots, but it was like more or less we kind of played through the game together. And it really helped with the super tough boss battles because we would just trade it off anytime one of us died, and it kind of gave you a sense of, like, you could, like, clear your head a little bit, you could, like, get back into it, you could, like, it really made all the difference because, like, one of us would eventually kick its ass.
Nice. That's awesome.
Erica, welcome to the chat.
How's your weekend going? My thing is I've been stuck on this boss, and, like, I'll lose like 15 times trying to fight it, and one will get me, like, super far, so I'll keep trying, like, another 5 times or so, and then I just get so frustrated that I decide to quit. I'll, like, move my my pins around trying to get a better, like, handle on the fight, and it's just, I don't know.
Well, that's the thing too, is you can only upgrade so far. Like, it's different. Right. Like, I'm playing, like, the a lot of the Souls games now, and it's like, if you get to a certain point where a boss just keeps handing your ass to you, you can, like, kind of go and grind a little bit and, like, level up whatever it is that you feel like you need and come back and take it on much stronger. But there's definitely a stopping point with Hollow Knight that I also like at the same time, because it's very much like you are only as good as the skills that you've mastered. And it's like the controls are so tight that, like, I think it's one of the truly one of the greatest like control schemed games ever made. Like
Oh, it's so
both in just like how responsive it is and like how fully like 360 fluid it is in every way, and how I feel like all the upgrades matter. I feel like everything the game gives you counts. Like there's no wasted thing.
Yeah.
It feels like a
Absolutely.
lot like regular Legacy to me, but maybe slightly heavier, which I appreciate. It's really tight. The gameplay is just fantastic.
Yeah, there's a weight to it. You feel like it doesn't just feel like it's floating. Like you really feel the weight
And
of
it,
everything.
all of that only gets better as you get more abilities, like the dash ability, and eventually like the super glide ability is what I'm gonna call it.
Yeah, the double jumps and
Yeah, the double
the
jump,
downward slam. Yeah, all the upgrades are
the
amazing. And
wall
then the
jump.
charms are wild. So it's like there's so many different ways to customize. And yet still there's a certain point it's like you can get all the masks and all the things, and like you'll be maxed out on health, and that last boss will still hand you your ass because it comes down to like just having to play perfectly.
Yeah.
Hello
And
chat, by
then,
the way.
Hey, Nikki,
whoa,
thank you so much for the sub. Happy weekend.
it's
Hope you're doing well.
Nick. I hear she's about to hit, what was it?
She just hit
150
150 on
followers?
Twitch. Congratulations, Nikki.
Yo.
That's
Right on,
awesome.
congratulations.
And please go and support at your girl Nick. Let's get her to 200, And also go and support Ryan Colt Levy here in the chat. He's just recently started Twitch streaming,
I'm a Twitch
Sure.
baby.
Let's get some shout outs here. I've worked out these shout outs. I know what I'm doing now. So do the later levels kind of feel like when I played through Rayman Origins and got the platinum on that, some of those later levels you're like looking at your hands thinking, how am I doing this? You've just got that kind of muscle memory after playing it like
Oh yeah,
10 or 20
totally.
times. Is that kind of what we're talking about here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
we'll
definitely
be-
get that.
I think it really respect. Oh, you just got your ass handed to you. It respects your time, in the sense that like you don't learn everything right away. You learn all the stuff as you get the really like big upgrades every time you either beat a boss or something, or like clear a certain area, and then you get like the double jump or the whatever. So there's a sense of like the progression is digestible, and every time you get one of those upgrades you really know how to use it, and you use it through an entire section along with all the other stuff you've built until you get the next one. So like it becomes so built into your system by the time you acquire the next thing that by the end you are just like it's all second nature.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest rules in game design is introducing a mechanic in a way that's digestible for the player, but then slowly ramping the difficulty of using that technique throughout the course of the game. And Hollow Knight does that in one of the most amazing ways, because like at first, you'll learn, oh, I can bounce my nail off enemies, and then
Right.
later you're like, wait, could I bounce my nail off these spikes? And then you
Right.
learn that you can do all of these crazy things, and then later on in the game it'll start to require that ability. And at
Exactly,
first
to traverse an area or something, right?
yeah, at first it might be like a little armor shell bug that's going over water, and you need to kind of bounce off of it to keep going across the water. And then later, once you get to the stuff that like Andy's doing, it gets real nuts. So
that's the DLC, or is that still just?
Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah, the stuff that Andy is losing his mind over, you don't have to play.
Should I purchase a map for this area? Would you recommend that too?
I always recommend
Oh, yeah.
purchasing the map.
Yeah.
Always get the map.
Nice.
You're always going to want the map, because if you don't, you're constantly going to be like if you die at a certain point and you want to go back to an area, you'll have no idea where it is.
Nice.
Yeah,
All of this stuff, you basically want to say yes to every opportunity if you can afford it.
That's one thing that I'm really intrigued by when it comes to Silksong, is I think two of the biggest complaints about Hollow Knight are the map system and the fact that you're not tracked on the map while playing. If you play the game,
if you get the charm.
right. But then that takes up a charm slot, which is a big negative, especially later on in the game.
course, though, that's the to me,
risk
like,
reward,
it's
for
frustrating, but exactly, it's the like, oh, do you choose to have this, and it's kind of like equip it and unequip it kind of thing, but it is
100%.
definitely, it's designed intentionally to not give you that like ease, which
Right.
I respect a lot, but definitely is frustrating.
Now,
Yeah,
question:
and I
Does this take
wonder...
place in the Tremors universe with these monsters here?
Right?
Is that what we're seeing right now?
So
Well,
you're actually... Oh, go ahead, Ryan. You got it.
I don't know. All you.
I was just gonna say, so you are in a bug world. Like, you are a bug.
Where's
so
Kevin
everything you're
Bacon then,
fighting
buddy? Where's Kevin Bacon at?
Well, technically, we won't spoil what you are, but
Right.
you are in a bug world.
Nice.
You're burrowing. It's this world called Hollow Nest, and you're going literally deeper and deeper underground.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And so, like, as you get deeper underground, you start fighting more and more, kind of like different bug monsters, eventually spiders, stuff like that.
But where's Kevin Bacon
So-
at? You know?
So those
Where's
things
what?
that you're
Where's
fighting
Kevin Bacon?
right now are worms.
Kevin Bacon, and who's the other guy from? Who's in like one of the Naked Gun movies?
Oh, his brother or his friend?
Yeah, like the guy,
Yeah.
whether he's his brother or like his partner. That dude, they were such a great pair.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Yeah, it was interesting because in Tremors 1, it's both of them, and then in Tremors 2, it's just the other guy. And then, is it Tremors 3 onward, it's just the guy with the guns?
He's fantastic. He's great, dude.
Was Kevin Bacon not back for the sequel? I don't remember that.
He came
No,
back
Kevin
for the show, I
Bacon's
think,
not in
didn't
the
he?
second one.
Did he come back for the
was
show?
going to come back for the TV show, but then the TV show got canceled.
Oh, no, that's so sad.
Yeah, he was there for
Tremors
like, the
was such a
pilot.
weird. I feel like Tremors was that movie that, because of when it came out and like our age and everything, it was like we all kind of found it by accident. I feel like nobody like intentionally sought out Tremors. You kind of just like either found it on TV by accident or you rented it because you were like, this cover is so bizarre. Like,
Yeah.
what is this, like, pizza worm? And then
Yeah.
you actually see it, and then you realize that it's this weird cult thing that we've all just kind of loved forever. Like, it's just this mutual love. Anyone who's seen Tremors loves Tremors.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's funny because that movie came out when, I want to say, like, 95? I might have to look that up.
Definitely 90s, yeah.
I mean, like, I definitely could have seen that in theaters. But I don't even remember it ever being in theaters. Like, I just remember
Right.
seeing it on TV one day, like you were
Yeah,
saying.
I remember. I would rent it. I rented it a lot on video, but I think I might have seen it on TV first. It was one of those like. Then I was like, oh, I want to see Tremors in full or something. Then I was like, there's a second one.
Yeah.
But it was definitely like. Yeah, it was a weird thing as a kid because I didn't even love horror movies as a kid, so it was bizarre to like really love Tremors.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat where it was like I saw it once on TV and then I had to rent it because I wanted to see it again without commercial interruptions and like uncensored or unedited or whatever.
I think it had that very like. It was scary in the way that like Jurassic Park was scary, which is to say it's not really. It's more of like an adventure than it is a monster movie. I think that's something that I always liked as a kid. Like, even oddly enough, it's like I equate it to a movie like Twister, where it's like
Yes.
you're like fighting this like whatever it is that's just like tearing people apart and creating dramatic tension and scary moments, but it's way more like just about the adventure.
Yeah. Hey, real quick, Ben, hit
Yo.
your action button, your attack button.
Is that square? Yeah.
I'm trying to see how far. Okay, so I'm about 3 seconds behind the stream. I just wanted
That's all
to check.
good. So Ryan, how's everything going for the voice acting, buddy? Have you got a few jobs on at the moment? Anything you can talk about?
Nothing I can talk about, sadly. It's so weird, man. It's like soon, very, very soon. I think this month is going to start some stuff rolling out, but it's a funny thing where like anytime an actor is quiet, it means they're working.
Yeah.
So it's like I've been quiet, like I haven't been able to like show anything new for months because I've just been working on all this stuff. So I'm very excited soon that it'll start coming out. But it's also going to be that weird thing where I think a lot of it's going to start releasing around the same time, which will be strange because it's like you do these things all in different times and capacities and like, and then they just randomly show up all at once instead of like, you know, doled out over different months. So I'm curious to see how it all plays out. But
the character you're
fun.
playing, the character you're playing, Genshin's out now, though, right?
oh yeah, yeah. The I did a couple of voices in Genshin that are, I mean, they're NPCs, you know, so they're like part of different people's quests and stuff. So you can find them as you go. But I think they're all attached to different quest lines, so it's kind of like a surprise.
I need to get back to that game. That game was great. I'll have to ask Rahul, actually.
I fell off real quick, honestly.
Yeah, I was enjoying it up to a certain point where it started to feel like an extreme grind to get anything done. And I was like, this must be the point where they want to have you start spending money. A couple things real quick, Ben. That pool that you were just in up above, I don't know if you noticed, but it healed you.
Yeah.
And then I always recommend sitting in the benches, especially when you have the map for an area, because that's what's going to fill in kind of what's in that area after you have the map.
Oh, really?
And then, yeah, and then that's also your save point. So every single time you sit at one of those, if you die, that's where you're going to be.
Oh,
that's where it's going to, like, respawn you.
So yeah, the bench is everything.
I had no idea, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
Oh, there's money up there. Can I get up there?
Yeah, you can definitely. Well, you
drop
may not be
down.
able to get
No,
there
you're gonna
yet.
need the double jump for there.
Yeah. At least the wall jump for sure.
Oh.
You might be able to get around if you can go to the right, but I don't know if it's open.
I wonder if we can drop down shortly. Can I go through here? No.
Another interesting thing about Hollow Knight.
You can always whack at the walls too, because sometimes.
Yeah. He actually
If you give a wall
earlier.
2 or 3 whacks, yeah, and it breaks open. If after that many it doesn't, it's just a wall.
Nice.
There it is. There's the drop
Yeah,
down. So what was I gonna say? Oh my god, I completely blanked.
Oh, crap.
You drop down once he's
We almost stuck the
There you
landing there.
Oh, I was gonna say, generally, if you can't access something, like, it means you're just not supposed to be there yet.
It's classic Metroidvania stuff where like every single from the beginning to the end there are sections that you're just gonna go back to and be like, oh, now I can get up here, now I can go over there, and oh, this wall now is open to this area. It's like all of it's gonna connect eventually, so if you can't access it now, you will later easily.
As someone that's played Hollow Knight quite a bit, how do you feel about the randomness of the geodes? Like when you hit one of those piles and then the geodes like just go everywhere. Sometimes they even just drop into spikes. How do you feel about that?
Again, same thing. Why there's that charm where like you link up the charm and then whatever you hit that creates geodes, the geodes just come to you.
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called, Wandering Soul or something like that.
That sounds right.
But it's another thing where like the game intentionally makes it more punishing by having to deal with that, and then by the time you get that charm, you're like, oh my god, wait, I can do this, and suddenly I can just run around and it just collects it for me. It's such an ease. So like, I find that by creating the tension at first and then creating the option to like make it easier later. And the fact that, again, the bench is where you can equip and de-equip, any arms based on where you are in that moment. I think it's actually a far more, like, versatile way to play than not. I actually think it's just a matter of taking that into account and taking that extra 2 minutes to, like, oh, switch in here, switch out here. I'm going to travel from this area to this area. I'll equip the thing that gives me all the geo all the time. If I'm up to this boss and I don't need to worry about that, I'll equip XYZ to fight it better, whatever, I think that makes it really, really enriching in the challenge of it. This guy, you want to the best way to fight the big dude like run away, hit, like kind of like dash, get him to slams, dash in and whack him, and just like one by one, just like one at a time.
And be careful because his hammer hit or like club hit takes 2 of your health points.
Let's get him. Let's get
If
him.
you get on his left side,
Let's go on the left. Let's do it. Let's do it. Woo.
oh boy.
Actually, maybe we should come back and get some more health and come back. That's probably a smart move.
Yeah,
Ah,
you're good. You're good.
no.
Watch out.
It happens.
Hollow Knight.
No, my thing's broken. How do I repair that?
You have to collect your darkness. I'm gonna
My
call
darkness.
it your darkness.
Yeah, so where you just died, it will be waiting for you.
Now, if you open up your map,
Yeah,
does it show it on there? I can't remember.
Yeah, it does. It'll show like a little dark soul. See those eyes?
Ah, I see. Down there, cool.
So now, notice how you don't see you on the map? That's the thing you have to equip,
Ah,
eventually.
But once you familiarize yourself with the route and like the way the rooms are set up, it's
you'll know
it
where
becomes
you're at.
second nature.
Yeah, especially these earlier levels, like it's not as big as it seems at first.
do I get my money back as well?
Yeah, you get everything back once you kill your little shadow.
I used to kill it. Oh no, I don't want to kill him.
You just gotta give them a little
A wee
1,
tap.
2, you know?
Little
Just a wee
love
hug.
tap.
Little hug.
Yeah.
You're like, get back in my body.
I think it was this way.
Hello, Kitty Cat Gundam 81.
Hey, kitty cat.
Trying to remember. Hello.
Welcome.
Yeah, I think you have to go. You were by the worm guys before, right?
Yeah. So we must be getting close.
Oh yeah, go to your map real quick.
Oh, just
When you're in
quickly.
a
Oh,
safe-
just quickly.
safe zone.
Oh no!
Yeah, go to your map real quick then.
There we go. There we go.
And then, so you are. Oh, he doesn't have the thing to fill out the map yet, so we don't know where the bench he was going through was.
I'm pretty sure we were going to the right.
But you definitely went this way.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. See, thanks to Kevin Bacon, we know where we're going. You know.
Exactly. It's always thanks to Kevin Bacon.
Thank
There's
you,
always
Kevin
6
Bacon.
degrees.
Does the shop open up after the first boss?
Yes, I think so.
Was that one that we were
Is-
fighting before a boss?
No, that's just a big guy. He's
Okay.
right before the boss, though.
Okay.
So yeah, you'll start to see. Well, it's weird because it's like there's a lot of like mini bosses, and then there's like mini bosses because like this guy that like with the club isn't even really a mini boss. Like he's
Oh.
just a guy that right now seems really tough, and pretty soon you'll be like, oh, I just know how to deal with this guy. But like you're about to get up to a mini boss that's kind of like going to begin to open up the world a bit, and then I think that's when the shop opens up above ground.
That's what I was going to say earlier, is Hollow Knight has this really cool diversity, where you've got enemies that respawn just from going from one area to another, kind of like, Metroid, when you leave one screen to go to the next screen.
Oh, you want to open this actually. This is a good spot.
Yeah, that's
this is the so go to the that thing right there, inspect, and hit up, I believe.
And then yes, oh, I don't have enough money. Gutted. Well, should I rest here?
You'll
Anyway?
get there. You'll get there. Yeah, you should definitely rest, but you'll get there.
Okay, we'll get there. We'll get our money back. Let's go. We've got this. We've got this. Is this the way I came? Maybe I took a wrong.
But then
turn.
there's enemies that, like, once you kill them, they won't respawn until you rest. And then there's enemies that'll just never respawn again. And then, yeah, there's, like, the bosses and mini-bosses.
Ah.
It's just a really cool dynamic.
There's something just so special about this art design too.
It's incredible, and it gets more and more like vivid and colorful, and like all the different biomes are really distinct.
Yeah, very different for sure.
I just go to the
Definitely.
right. You can just avoid these guys. Like you can basically just run past people too,
Cool.
because they're not gonna like follow you to the next room. If you go jump up there, yeah, you saw it.
Nailed it.
If do you think that Silk Song is going to have the charm system, or do you think they're going to introduce something different?
They showed at least in the trailer, like at this point a couple of years ago, they showed like a charm system of sorts. Oh, that's the mini boss. Interesting.
Yeah, that's one of the mini bosses.
It's not
Yeah, I wouldn't go in there yet. No.
Yeah, let him sleep a little longer. Let him sleep a little.
At first, I would get your soul first. Make that your objective at the moment.
Oh no, shooting.
I think yeah. Oh yeah, this guy sucks. I think it's going to have some kind of charm system. I think it seems like they're doing it differently regardless, because they're making her distinctly.
Yeah, I noticed she has a thread meter.
Yeah, it's like there's going to be a different mechanic to it all around, I'm sure, but it seems like it's something that we'll understand contextually based on how this game plays. Like, I don't think it's going to be the same, but I don't think it's going to feel like Alien.
I love the idea that she's, like you're the nail user and she's like a needle user. I would love to see
so cool.
In like 10 years when they have like a bunch of different classes, like an almost Maple Story-esque MMO in this universe.
Oh, that would be wild, like all the different kinds of things you can use.
Yeah. You've got like a heavy club user, kind of like the big guy that we were just fighting not too long ago. Then like the needle user, the nail user, some sort of ranged class. I know I'm dreaming, but
there's like there are like the other bosses, like the ones that teach you stuff, like the painters.
Yeah, that's true.
Game's really
universe, you know.
I mean, it's the kind of thing that if Cuphead can do it.
Oh man, if they made a Hollow Knight like cartoon on Netflix, that'd be so dope.
Do we get kind of Tim Burton sort of an inspiration for the art style here? It seems very Tim Burton-esque.
Oh, Tim Burton? I mean, I'm sure to some degree. I imagine that these guys are influenced by a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, I would love to sit down
and the team is really small. They're a small team from Australia, I believe.
Ooh, not too far away.
Yep. They are from Australia. It was either 2 or 3 people originally.
Yeah, I think it's like 3 people.
That's crazy.
I think that they have expanded out a little bit since the success of this game, but not a lot, which is crazy. There was a magazine article in
this guy. You want to jump over. You want to kind of like do like jump over him and swipe down with your nail.
You're a genius, Ryan. You're a genius, buddy.
No, we've just played this a bunch. We've just learned
all the tricks. That was one thing. I just started playing it on PlayStation 4 again. Because it was a PlayStation Plus game for
that's where I'm playing it now, which is a little alien for me because I'm used to the Switch version.
Right, me too. And it was so funny after playing the Switch version for so many hours. I was able to clear the first area like really quickly. Like I didn't die on the first boss. I didn't die on the mini bosses. I think my first death came from that weird mini boss that shoots out all the goop, and it's got like the claws. I can't remember what it's called, what its name is, but that was like the first thing that killed me. Luckily, that description shouldn't spoil it for anybody.
The goop.
And something else as you're playing to keep in mind, the biggest thing with this game with like survival is because as much as the game is like you can bounce around like crazy, patience is everything. Like even with the tiniest of like adversaries, like with this little bug dude, like stand your ground, focus on like where you're at, and take more time to fight him than just jumping in and swiping.
And I think that's a great strategy for any game like this. I mean, Dark Souls or Hollow Knight.
So what Souls games are you playing at the moment, Ryan? You obviously mentioned playing some of them. What have you sort of started out with?
I played Bloodborne, which was the first one that I had ever played, like weeks ago at this point. And I literally like beat it in a week. I got so into it. and I got
Did you
really, really like good at grinding and getting strong and like traversing all the areas. Just got really obsessed with the kind of exploration of it, and it became kind of like that clicked for me. I was like, okay, I get it now. Like I get why people love these games, and I wanted to try kind of going back. So I got the first one. I got Dark Souls Remastered on Switch, and it is so punishing. It is so difficult. I'm very close to the end, but holy crap, it's way harder.
Yeah,
That's tough.
so the Dark Souls games are interesting because they are way harder in the beginning than they are in like the middle, and obviously the ending ramps up a bit, but like they kind of what's the word like skill check you in the beginning,
Mm.
so because they really want you to realize like this is not going to be a cakewalk. Um, and it's also to kind of get you to start utilizing your tools and figuring out the different stuff in the world. But the interesting thing is like I feel like Bloodborne is one of the closest representations of like a 3D version of Hollow Knight, since we're on the subject.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
where I mean, obviously in Bloodborne you can still level up your character and everything, but just the like all the little secrets that you can find, all the little lore tidbits, and just yeah, everything about the way the games are designed. They've got just like this great exploration and combat feel to them. A lot of
And you're
visceral
totally
gore.
right about the lore too, because it's like you can easily play the entire game and never know the story, or you
Right.
can play it and like learn all of the story by just paying attention to all the different things that you come across, and it's very much built through the world. Yeah, it really does kind of like teach you very quickly like this is how to play this game. And then it gets to a point where like the way that I ended up beating up Bloodborne was like I would just get to a certain point where I'm like, okay, I have to level up in order to like beat this boss or whatever. And I would go back to earlier stages and just like grind through them and just like, tear dudes apart and just collect you know, uh whatever the currency in that game was. And
The
same thing now
blood
with Dark Souls.
echoes.
Yeah, Blood Echoes, and same thing now with the Souls and Dark Souls. Like, I'll just go to certain areas and just grind like a bunch if I'm stuck at a certain boss or something, then come back and like whoop their ass. And it's so interesting seeing how like you can shift the dynamic later in the game.
I take it that means you never used the cum dungeon in Bloodborne.
Excuse me.
Yeah, that's literally a thing in Bloodborne. There's a chalice dungeon code that literally has that name where you walk into it and a guy just dies and gives you like 80,000 souls.
Huh.
Maybe I should do that.
And Greg Miller joked about it a lot when he was playing through the game. I had no idea that it existed until that point, and I'm like, well, that would have made my
Interesting.
playthrough a lot easier.
So Ben, one thing I want to tell you, you don't have to charge these guys as much. They're all going to come to you. The AI in this game is disturbing. Like the best way to fight these guys is like create your space and
Just take
use
the
your
it.
way,
nail. Like the nail, you'll get ways to like upgrade it and get it longer too, like to create more distance. But like
Oh, that's cool.
distance is your friend. Like play this game like a ballerina. Like bounce and like feel like you're like create your space versus your foes versus just trying to go at them because they are coming to you no matter what.
Ooh, I like
So
that.
like
so
you'll more than likely get into like a car crash if you try to go head on versus playing them like it's just how this game works. Like you'll notice it doesn't matter what level you're at. Like when you try and play super headstrong, the game just like beats the shit out of you. But if you look at it like a dancer, it it's a lot easier to manage.
so
I
go to your
can't
map real
dance for
quick,
shit.
Ben.
What's that,
When
Phil?
you have a second, I said go to your map real quick. Just when you have a second.
I think I need to keep
So
going right and then down.
you see where it says dirt
Yes.
mouth right there?
Where it says what, sorry?
So where it says dirt mouth, or Dartmouth. I forget which
Yep.
one it is. That is where you are right now.
Yeah. So now we need to
So
go up and
if you look at it, you can go straight across and then down.
Nailed it. Good job, Tim. I'm proud of us. It definitely kind of almost feels like one of the old sort of Sega or Sega Genesis games to me, the way it sort of feels and plays, which is really cool.
Dude, some of those games were so tough. I was talking with somebody about the Jurassic Park game. Do you remember the Jurassic
Yes.
Park game?
Those
I've never
freaking
gotten
raptors,
past the
man.
first level. The first level, man.
It was like Back to the Future. I think it was part 2 on Sega I had. And that was just, I could never ever get past that first level either. It was just insane.
And Batman
thinking-
Forever also was another one that was like
Oh
impossible.
my god, yes. Man.
Super, like it had that the Mortal Kombat real person graphics.
Yep.
It was so weird.
God, I love the fact that we're in a very similar age bracket to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, so
Because,
someone's
yeah.
like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
Right. But yeah, the Jurassic Park game, I remember thinking that was like the most realistic looking game I'd ever played. I was like, how did they do this? It's so funny. And now it's like you look at it and we're like, how did I ever think this looked good?
What's funny is though, I think those games do look great now. Like for what that
Sure.
was, I think they look amazing.
Oh, at the time, absolutely. Absolutely.
So there you can't access yet. This is that's some advanced level stuff. You'll be able to get there eventually. Did you get your soul yet? You still didn't get your soul.
No, that's what we're trying to get him back to right now.
Here's hoping.
Go down, go down.
Look at that, Ryan. Letting them come to me, you know?
Yeah.
I'm
There
the
you
ballerina.
go. There you go.
You're learning.
Be the ballerina. You'll notice a huge difference in the punishment factor. It will be a lot easier to manage. The biggest thing, the most sacred thing about this is when they hit you, it takes away so much life that it's so easy to
Yeah.
there's nothing the thing about this game that hurts the most is when you're in a situation like this where you're trying to find your soul and all the geo you lost, and then because of one clumsy move, some dude just levels you, and then all of it's gone.
Now, I don't know if I'd recommend going to the left completely right now, just because that's the first kind of boss.
I'll just take these guys out quickly so they don't bother me. Yeah, look at that.
I can't remember if there's
Yeah, there you go. See, now it's you've already come to understand how to play the game.
So it is
so
actually
much
very
of
Dark
what you're
Souls
doing
like,
now.
isn't it? With the
Yeah,
system.
it's a lot of dodge and every enemy has a slightly different mechanic of how they fight. So it's learning all their movesets and their the bosses especially it's patterns. It's all
Yeah.
patterns.
Yeah, most
The
enemies
stages,
have 1 to 3 attacks that they use, and then obviously bosses have some other
Oh, we're doing it!
things that are pretty crazy. But
Yeah, see, you got it. This is the move.
just wait until you get your dash,
Oh!
because once you have your dash, that's when it gets real crazy for bouncing
I
back.
can't believe
in
we took
and out.
that thing down. That was awesome.
Hell yeah, dude. Dude, you took him down so much quicker than I did the first time I played because I didn't.
Oh my gosh.
I had no idea. I would just bullishly go at him and just beat the shit out of you. That was excellent.
Thanks, dude.
I mean, honestly, you probably could take on the mini boss at this point. It's not insanely hard. It's all about just spatial awareness. Because it closes you in that little box and it kind of bounces around. But he's pretty harmless.
Yeah, the fly, but
Is that how you
one
get
to the
the
left
extra
here
movesets?
is the armor boss.
Which one's the armor boss? I don't remember.
He's the grub that's inside the big thing of armor. With
Oh,
the
yeah,
face.
that's the actual first boss.
Yeah, that's the one he's headed towards right now.
Oh, okay, so we don't want to go to that one?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, I wouldn't fight him yet.
Cool.
I mean, you could, but he's gonna beat you for sure. I would fight the other guy first, the little grubby dude.
And is that how you get your different upgrades and stuff like that?
Yes.
Yeah,
but a lot of
basically,
the
every
main
time you beat a
bosses-
boss, yeah, it'll you'll beat them, and then they'll either drop something or the like room that opens up behind them will like have a thing that you acquire, and then that thing will be a way for you to either open up another area or use an ability to get to another place or whatever.
Have you ever played Sultan Sanctuary, Ryan?
No, but that sounds familiar.
It's very much like Dark Souls meets Hollow Knight. It's a really good game. It's definitely more Dark Souls than Hollow Knight is, but I highly recommend checking it out since you like Bloodborne, Dark Souls, and Hollow Knight. Instead of collecting souls, you collect salt off enemies, and then instead of like Hollow Knight where you're just the nail wielder, you can choose your class in the beginning, and there's like dual daggers. There's even a Bloodborne class that has a whip and a crossbow.
Oh, that's cool.
And yeah, there's a bunch of cool stuff in it. And
oh wait, I think that's the guy. So go down there, then go to the right.
yeah, to the right. That's gonna be the mini boss.
Nice. There we go. Okay, we can do this, team. We can do this.
Just
Oh,
watch.
he's gonna like, yeah, he's gonna bounce around.
He looks friendly though.
Is he sleeping? Now I don't remember him sleeping.
Ah!
Yeah, I think that might have been a change that they made, because I think originally he's just floating around in there, and then as soon as you drop in, you start fighting him. I don't remember him be sleeping. I bet you a lot of people got stuck in there and they wanted to like make it.
He's gonna dash at you when he does the dive bomb. That he's gonna go exactly where you are. So once he like does like a pause and starts to launch towards you, just like go in a different direction. And when he's doing the bouncing up and down, it's just a like
in the middle of his
just walk underneath him. Yeah, like whack and walk underneath him, like one hit and walk away.
Got him.
And then
Hey!
There you go.
Nailed it.
Excellent.
Now, Phil, could you do me a favor, Phil?
That is the best. Yeah. What's up?
On my Twitter this week, or might have been last week, I put up there, obviously with this being the finale, what were your favourite memories of PleaseBeXcited players? And I think a few people posted on there, so if you could bring that up, we can go through and
absolutely
have a wee chat there about that. I said I'd share some of them on the show.
This is also a great thing that it like teaches you right away is like you'll beat a boss and it won't always be the end. Like there'll be some little trick or something at the end. You're like, God, and it'll catch you by surprise. Like the amount of times a boss has killed me after I thought I won.
Oh,
so you can drop down there safely and you're kicking butt right now. This is phenomenal.
Kicking bug.
You want to go and I think this is how you open up the shop, because you find Sly down here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Look at him, he's so cool.
So the like orange like haze around him is like he's like hallucinating basically.
Oh yeah, the little bug that you help out.
So he's the one who opens up the shop, because otherwise he would have just been stuck down there.
Oh, I'm glad we
So
can.
now, when you go back to the top, he actually has a space open that you can go and purchase stuff to like help upgrade on your journey. And basically, like, you want to get everything he has. So like, once you kind of see how much everything costs up there, best thing to do in the beginning, even before like progressing too far, is just like get a bunch of geo and buy everything.
Nice. And Geo is that currency that we've got now, the 562.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Just call it lunch money.
Nice. So it's not like Destiny where there's 1,200 different currencies and stuff.
Exactly. This is just straight up.
That's good.
The map maker's wife. You're gonna want to talk to her and buy the map supplies so you can start actually filling in your map.
You can't get up there just yet, but you'll be able to very soon.
Awesome. So should I probably head back to the surface?
Yeah, at this point you can. Let's see. What I would do, because you have a decent amount of geo, is hit that beam, that wooden beam. Yeah.
Nice.
Go towards the surface, kill everybody you see, and just get as much of their lunch money as possible. And then that way, by the time you get back up to the surface, you'll have a decent bit to spend. Kind of a rinse and repeat for a second until you feel like you're comfortable with the mechanics to like take on the boss. The first boss is not super hard. It's just he hits really heavy. Like all of his hits take away a lot of life. So unless you feel like you're agile enough, don't throw yourself in the fire just yet.
Should I try and find that area we were at earlier where we could pay, I think it was 50 of the currency?
Oh,
yeah,
the
open
maps?
up
Yeah.
The
beetle.
yeah, so that what that basically does is like it's like a fast travel. It's basically there are these bugs that you ride that will take you like to different biomes. You know, like they're like tram stations.
Nice.
So every time you open one up, it'll stay open.
He's the last one of his kind. It's so sad.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And where do you get the story from this game? Is it just from
The
environmental
story is
storytelling mainly?
delivered like through characters and like occasionally they'll have dialogue with characters, and a lot of it is just like you'll come across a thing and it'll you'll read something. It's a lot of like dispelling lore through the world. It's very abstract. It's not like it's not the most ABC kind of tale. It's like you'll understand the gist of it, but it's still pretty like out there.
Which I appreciate. That's good.
They do a really good job of balancing it where like you care and you understand that this is a world, but you also are kind of like it's not like you need to understand every little bit of a detail.
Yeah, look at all that lunch money. Woohoo.
Yeah, baby.
Let's go.
Do you remember what day you made this post on, Ben?
Pass. I could probably find it shortly. That's all good.
No, it's fine. I'm on it.
There's a lot of Milk
gonna
Mummy
find it.
photoshops and Greg Miller helmet photoshops for the challenge.
It's fine.
Dude,
It's
those
fine.
photoshops every time I see one, my reaction is just like I feel like I always have the same kind of I'm constantly just shocked at how you it's always outdoing it, the last one.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, we have a lot.
What was
of
the most
fun
recent
making
one you
them.
did? I'm trying to remember. What was the most recent one?
I did. Have you seen Invincible?
I haven't watched all of it. My buddy actually is the voice director.
What? That's
Oh,
so
nice.
cool. Do you know what?
Yeah,
Actually,
one
before
of
the
my-
show,
one of
I was
his
actually going to
pals.
tweet out that we need Ryan in season 2. So that's so funny. No joke. I was going to, and it's just like, oh, I'll do that after the show.
I mean, that would be a dream. But a lot of the time, those kinds of shows, the reality is like they cast mostly on-camera actors. It's one of those things like, and I don't mean even in the sense of like on-camera versus voiceover specific. I mean like those shows they want celebrities, like straight up, like case in point.
I mean, that
who they
cast
have
is
in the cast,
insane.
Yeah.
Like, it's just.
Same thing with you'll see when Kevin Smith's Masters of the Universe comes out, it's the same thing. Like the cast is phenomenal, but it's like Sarah Michelle Gellar and Mark Hamill, and I think D. Bradley Baker is the only like strictly voice actor, and he is the greatest of the great. So
And J.K. Simmons is Nolan /
oh my god, he's perfect. Well, it's also that's the thing; it's perfect casting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Steven is amazing. Yeah. Like it's really great.
So yeah, I had to do the Helmet Greg as robot because that's this week's theme for the show. So.
Oh, that's amazing, dude. What about speaking of? It's like it's so weird because like it's like we don't actually or at least I don't actually know him. I mean, you've had way more interaction with him, but seeing that he is going to be a father, like
so cool, so exciting.
Such wonderful news, man.
Hell yeah.
It's so interesting to see these people they're in our homes just by we watch their stuff and take in their stuff for so long, and to see them kind of thrive in so many ways, it's genuinely like it feels so special to be a part of, just to watch it happen for them. It's so special.
That's the wholesome thing that the internet needed this week,
Dude,
Right, that's
big
true.
time. It was so wholesome, and it really it blew up in such a beautiful way. Like I needed to see that kind of joy.
My boss and I were actually contemplating whether or not the move was because Jen was pregnant. So
I'd imagine they probably want a family home, you know.
Yeah, 100%. So
Rahul, what's up,
pretty
buddy?
exciting to find out that that was actually a thing that was happening.
Now Rahul in the chat here is a huge Genshin Impact fan. Huge.
Yeah, he is.
Oh.
All right, you ready for this, Ben?
Yeah, buddy. Thanks for finding it.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ben posted, the final Please Be Excited plays is next weekend. If you have any favorite moments or memories from the show, I'd love to know. Please post them below, and I'll read some of them during the stream next weekend. Now, first, I'd like to say that if you have any fun memories and you're in the chat right now, please toss those out as well. So we'll read those out. But the first one is from the Robin GL, and he says,
Robin!
Is this porn? Question mark.
That's from like the first episode. That's a deep cut, Robin.
Yep.
Yep. And that was Robin that actually did that comment. I believe that's when me and Kumal were doing some plumbing in, was it House Flipper? And there were some noises happening, and Robin did ask the appropriate question if it was in fact porn, but no, it's just me and Kumal just making some interesting noises while while plumbing, as guys do. You know, when you're plumbing, you know, that's just what happens. You know.
I believe there's a Twitch clip of that out somewhere on the internet.
There is, yep, there is.
And then we have Erica, otherwise known as @Ambelina.
Erica!
And she just posts the emote of a bee.
Yes, the bee simulator stream. That was a good time, and that was a fan favorite, that one. So that was fun. We'll have to get
the
back
bee
to
simulator. Oh wait, was that the game where you're just a bee?
That's you're actually just flying around as a bee collecting pollen. You're doing
I
like
remember
rap
this,
battles, and you're doing like break dancing and stuff. It's pretty cool.
What?
You have like dance offs with
Breakdancing
other
bees,
bees.
yeah.
It's great.
That's amazing. I didn't know that. That's amazing.
And Erica says, yeah, House Flipper was
Video
great.
games,
It was,
man.
Erica. It was. It was a great game. I think we actually did 2 episodes of that, so it was good.
Next up, we
Will
have...
said he's been summoned to talk about Genshin.
Mr. Mac92 says, it wasn't a Please Be Excited plays, but just a PBX stream. Joining and being welcomed so wholeheartedly, you'd think we were the best of buds already.
Oh, we
Now
are the best
look
of
at me.
buds, Sean, you know.
Thank you.
And Sean's been absolutely crushing it, so shout out to you, buddy. Thanks for riding in.
You have
Just-
such a
just-
beautiful community.
They're the best. They're the best.
Do you find that you have a lot of like kind of funny best friends?
Yeah, there's
So is
definitely,
it a lot
definitely a
of,
lot of
like,
crossover.
readover?
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
people from the community there, and just some people from Twitch as well. I'd say the Twitch community as a whole has just been so welcoming and so awesome. It's been really, really fun journey. In fact, we're coming up on almost a year actually of just my first Please Be Excited Play stream. So yeah,
Wow.
it's crazy.
Congratulations, man. Yeah, it's such a cool platform that like I don't want to say I avoided it for a long time, but I guess I kind of ignored it for a long time because I never watched it. The only time I saw like Twitch streams were if I watched, you know, like someone's like YouTube thing after the fact, and it was like someone that I was used to watching, whether it was kind of funny or whatever, and they were just hanging, and it was like, oh, we did this Twitch stream, but I would never seek it out. And really, it was because of this pandemic, and most of it still I didn't even do it. I just, you know, a lot of my friends started kind of picking it up, and I was like, I guess it's not the craziest idea. Like, I love playing video games, and I'm not hanging out with people, so maybe it's the way to approach it. And like realizing how special and connective it can be is lovely.
Mm.
Ben, go back and buy that ink pen, the
Ink
like
pen?
little
The quill?
feather.
Cool, thanks,
Yeah.
If you can afford it, buy it.
Yeah, honestly, Twitch is it's so cool. Like, everyone just wants to see everyone succeed and support one another, and it's been everyone's so welcoming. I haven't come across another streamer that hasn't been wanting to, you know, just help each other and just check out everyone's streams and just be part of it. So no, it's been awesome, dude. It's been great. And Kitty Cat
Well, I
says
think
here, bees
that's
actually
kind of
dance
what.
to communicate, and that's true. It's awesome.
Ah, I think that's the beautiful idea of I guess ultimately what all this is like it's just hanging out and playing games with each other, just how we're hanging out and just being with each other and expressing, sharing similar interests. It's a simple thing to just be peaceful with. I think it's wonderful. And like it's so crazy to think that I literally saw something today. Of course, it was like Bill Maher clip where he went off. I don't know what he was so perturbed about, but he decided to like pick on Twitch streaming as like thinking that like, oh well, I don't understand why people watch other people play video games. I think that's a waste of time. And it's like you don't have to understand it to you don't have to be a dick about it either. Like
Yeah.
like it's so interesting to like it's not even about being in or out of touch. It's just like the perception of something just based on it not being like your thing is so funny to me.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people don't necessarily understand is that it's a lot about the personality, the person, and the interactions. It's
Same
obviously
reason why
definitely
someone watches Bill Maher.
exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say. And obviously part of it is the game, because that's what's gonna draw the people in. But it's the person that's gonna make them stay. And yeah, it's the funny moments, the jokes, the fact that you're getting a live stream of entertainment and content, and the fact that you can actually interact with the person. I mean, obviously it depends on if they're like a huge um, streamer or not, how much interactivity they have. But
Well, it's
um,
it's also it's also clear like his statement is just like an extraordinarily dumb generalization.
yeah,
It's like, for someone who is theoretically as intelligent as him, or at least as like understanding of like research a thing before you just speak upon it, like understand what the whole purpose of it is and how it works and everything versus like just being the cranky dude who's like, thinks this is just dumb, vapid stuff. I
Mm.
think that it's the same reason why people enjoy podcasts. I think it's
yeah,
about sharing energy. It's like being in a room. Because another thing I think that a lot of people don't talk about is like, you can want to hang out with people and not have a conversation from yourself. Like, you can not want to expel energy of talking, but maybe you want to be around people who are. And I
absolutely.
think there's something to be said about like, I love going for a walk, listening to a podcast, and like feeling like I'm part of a conversation with people and not having to necessarily participate. There's something really kind of like peaceful to that, I think. And I think those kinds of things are why people enjoy watching Twitch streams or whatever it is. And it's like it's so harmless, like
Mm.
to pick on it is so weird to me.
That is strange, yeah.
Yeah. And especially because there's so much more than just video games on Twitch now, too. I mean, Very Handsome Billy is a guy from New Zealand. Hey, shout out.
What a name.
Is he very handsome?
Yeah. I think he's very handsome.
There we
It's
go.
actually a sock
Um,
puppet.
and yeah.
It's not one of those
But
ironic names then.
Yeah.
he actually plays live music. And it's not like he has songs that he has a routine and he plays. Like, no, he'll start playing the bass and he'll do a bass line, and then he'll switch over to the drums, and then he'll do a drum line, and he'll have it all just
Right, so
kind of
he's
loop
crafting
together.
something right. Yeah. Well, I
And
mean,
yeah,
and what's stopping you from doing like a cooking show, right? Like,
yeah,
what's
there
stopping
actually
people?
are
There's
people
so
who
many.
do cooking shows.
Mm.
So like, there's so many ways to just like connect with people on here that it's so stuff like this. By the way, Ben, like these dudes, like he's not going to be there next time. Like the world is very much alive. Like people show up and disappear. So like whenever you see someone, it's always worth talking to them and kind of like getting a sense of what's up.
That's awesome.
Um, yeah, that's where you get the story. That's where you get the lore from.
Mm.
Like it's these little weird interactions, and they'll like turn up in different places, and like if you there are characters that like you'll come into play where how you interact with them changes how you may interact with them later or what may happen later with certain scenarios. It's pretty interesting.
So cool.
I also want to say real quick, Kitty Cat Gundam 81 in the chat. I know I'm a little late on reading this message, but she says, "Bees actually dance to communicate."
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
And then next up on the list of people, Serenity, drop the bass,
Cow.
says, "The awesome Final Fantasy VII streams. Plus, you always being so kind to me and everyone else on the streams. Love you."
Oh, Cow, love you, buddy.
Or, I love you back.
Yeah, they were fun, those streams. That was great. Ah! Oh no, I died. Yeah, I think you're both right, because like honestly, before I even got into Twitch, I didn't have the same sentiment. I was like, hey, that's really cool that people want to watch people play games, but I was like, that's not something that I probably want to do until you actually get in the community and you realize, oh, actually, it's not about the games at all. Like, that's nothing really. It's just
Exactly.
It's more about the
totally
community.
second nature.
Yeah. And to your point, Phil, like, I mean, you know what I'm cooking up, but after I've had my little break, we've got something that's very different coming out on Twitch, and it's not even gaming related at all. It's going to be a really fun new show, which I'm pretty excited about. So,
Dude, I love it.
It's going to be really cool. But yeah, it's all about the community, eh? Just having fun, hanging out with friends. You know, the game's just kind of secondary to all that.
Yeah, it's just a touchstone to even just begin a conversation. So much of it is just, it's not even about like liking the same stuff. It's just having a conversation. It's like one of my favorite things to do is watch documentaries about stuff that I have no interest in, because it's like within 5 minutes, if it's a good documentary, I'm fascinated, and suddenly I learn something that, you know, I never would have known before. And there's something about starting, you know, like an interaction with a stranger over some game or whatever you're doing on Twitch, and suddenly you're, you know, discussing some wild life thing or something that is, you know, completely left field of where you started. And that's really the goal of, you know, that's why we want to be with people. That's, you know, that's what life is about. It's just communicating and being and sharing with each other.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely.
Billy the Door over on Twitter says, "It's all
Billy
about
the
the
Door?
cat reveal." Yeah, his name is literally Laporta, Billy Laporta. So Billy the Door.
Oh, that's amazing. La Porta means door.
Yep. Well, la means the, and then porta means door. So.
That's so cool. We love Billy here. And Billy, that calf reveal was that was all thanks to you guys. That was the birthday stream. I didn't put it up on that list, but you did. You all did.
So Ben doesn't reveal his face on stream. So during one of his
You never have?
plays, no, I can't for professional reasons, but.
But yeah, so as one of his rewards for a stream, if he got to a certain amount of subs or donation dollars and stuff, bits, he was going to do a couple different things, and one of those was a calf reveal.
It's only because people kept asking for it, because we did the treadmill Warzone sessions, and people were like, "We want to see your calf." I'm like, "Well, okay." I can at least show you that, you know. I can at least show you that.
Glad you didn't kink shame anybody.
Exactly.
Does anyone have some Hobbit feet emotes?
Oh yeah, I know Erica does. Erica's got those Hobbit feet.
Get some Hobbit feet in the chat. If we
What's that website that Scarpino's got his feet on?
Oh, the Wiki feet.
Wiki feet.
Yeah.
Yay! Thank you, Erica. There's some Hobbit feet for you guys.
Erica.
Oh man.
We didn't quite get the foot reveal, but you know, one day, maybe this birthday, you know.
Steps. So you're not going to be able to access most of what's going on here, because if you go all the way to the right on this part, you'll see basically like this one section. This is where ultimately you're going to open up. See how this ground kind of like moves beneath you?
Mm.
That will eventually, you're going to get this like super ground pound that is going to break through that. So that comes from beating a certain boss. So this will be a whole area to open up later in the game, but they give you that sweet tease where they're like, "Look how cool this all looks. Don't you want to go here?"
Yeah, I love this so much. So the surface level here, do you think that's just one other biome? Do you think that's also like a level down? Is there ever like a surface to this thing?
So the surface, the most surface you're going to get in this game is on top where the shop is.
Yeah.
Do you also think
and
that's
then like
underground?
kind of there is another section that where you like originally started the game where you'll sort of be able to traverse to later. You'll see the way that like all that stuff gets explained later.
cool.
This game is huge. It's one of the larger games I've played. Like in terms of hours like spent, with other games and stuff like that, like I put in more time in this game than I did Breath of the Wild.
Nice.
Oh, me too. Easy. I think I clocked in right around 26-ish hours. When I beat Breath of the Wild for the first time.
Oh, wow! Did you just like go? Did you just like go straight through? Like,
yeah, I went straight for the beasts. I explored a lot after I beat the story, though. I think I ended my time at 100 and something hours.
Yeah, I think in Hollow Knight, I think I'm almost at 200 hours. Like I put in.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I lived in that game, and that is like only a little chunk of that is post game stuff. Most of it is just like the worlds are so massive, and there's so much to explore.
Yeah, 100%.
What do the little caterpillars do?
I was actually just going to say that you could go see what they do, but go ahead, Ryan.
Oh no, go for it. Go for it. You got him.
I was just going to say, if you go to the beginning area where you are going to Dirtmouth, there's kind of like a little village off to the far left, just below Dirtmouth. And there's a ton of empty spaces. And as you get caterpillars, they all migrate to that location. I don't want to spoil what it does for when you eventually go back there, but there is a purpose for
Was that
finding
where all those kind of tubes were and there were like caterpillars coming out of them?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
You can go back. I mean, like basically anytime you rescue one, you can always go back there and like see if you can reap the rewards. But it's something ultimately that will just benefit you.
Yep.
It benefits you multiple times. So like every time you'll find them all over the game, and some like you saw one before that you couldn't get to. Like same thing as like any other part of the game. Like once you get certain upgrades, you'll be able to access them even if they're in earlier parts of the game.
Nice. Erica, sorry, I was taking pictures of Pokemon lol. Pokemon Snap's so much fun.
Everybody's up in Snap today, yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
It looks really beautiful, man. It's so cool to like. It's wild to have grown up with all these games and see how much they've kind of literally evolved. No pun intended. Oh, now you can buy the.
Yay.
Yeah, I opted to get Returnal instead of Pokemon Snap, just because that was.
So now go and hit that bell.
Yeah, smack it with your nail.
Is this the guy you're talking about? That's so cool.
Yay, there he is.
Greetings, little one.
Such a cool world, eh?
It's amazing, and they're like when you really think about how small this team was. Like this game is so dense in its structure and its artwork, all the little particle effects, and like just the depth of the actual world that you're looking at from the background and the foreground and the lighting. Like it is so impressive.
100%. All right, we have one more reply to Ben here, and it's from none other than myself. That time when the developer came into our Void Bastard stream and revealed that we were actually horrible monsters.
That was amazing.
We were playing a little game called Void Bastards. It's like a procedurally generated roguelike, and we were killing like all these different NPCs and mobs, and we were trying to decide like who they used to be or what they were, and I was like,
that was the
it's
tourists,
fine.
right? That's what they're called.
The tourists. Like it's fine. They don't have souls anymore, Ben. You're just killing like bad things. And then like the developer came in and he told us like the background of these poor like people.
They're just people on holiday, having a good time.
Yeah, exactly.
They look horrifying, but
We just felt like monsters afterwards, but it was great.
That was
a
hilarious,
wonderful,
dude.
wonderful
That was great.
stream.
Well,
Yeah.
it's so funny because like even with this game, I have this really strange empathy where like you get a sense that like none of these creatures, especially because like as you get into the lore and they kind of talk about like why any of them are attacking you and stuff like that, it gets really interesting. But it's this idea of like ultimately like just just like slaughtering all these
bugs.
critters.
We're
Yeah,
just an
and, like,
exterminator. That's the plot of the whole.
yeah,
whole
like
game.
you're just like rolling into their little biomes and like wreck and shop, and you can't get in there yet. This is all stuff that you'll be able to like access later.
Sweet.
To be fair, it does kind of interject in the story in an interesting way about who you
Oh
are
yeah,
and how
it's
you
all
relate to it.
everything is all designed with intention, which is what makes it really special. Nothing is flippant by any means, but it is definitely like kind of like even just the way that they carry themselves, like the way that that dude walks and everything.
Yeah.
Um,
There's so
and the
much
orange
personality.
stuff is the biggest telling point. Like with Sly, when you noticed you were talking to him and he was like kind of surrounded by that like orangey mist. Um, and it was the notion that he was kind of taken over by like a madness.
Or starting
So
to
if you
be,
notice, yeah, and you notice that when you kill these critters, the same smoke kind of comes off of them.
Kitty Cat Gundam 81 in the chat says, I drew Hollow Knight for my Hollow Knight painting, but I haven't started painting it yet.
That's so
That's awesome.
cool.
Oh, right on.
Can't
Can't
wait
wait
to see it.
painted.
Woohoo! So cool. Wait, have we been here? Oh yeah, so we killed that boss, right? So we can't really go down there yet, can we? That was kind of a dead end.
Yeah, so the next thing you need to do is actually fight the boss.
Yeah, the
Okay.
boss.
And that was
Who
it.
you can
Down the
definitely take
explorer.
on. Like you're capable enough to take him on. And at this point, it's just one of those things where like if you feel like you have Geo that you'd rather spend than possibly lose beforehand, spend it and then take him on with a little bit less so that if you die, you don't feel the loss as much as just like losing the fight.
Sweet. And was the boss this way, or is he some? Oh, we can't get up there, can we?
He's the other way. You
He's
want to
that way.
backtrack.
Cool.
We'll be able to get there soon, though.
We'll get there. Oh, great. I'm so
It's
excited for you to
interesting
see
because
the
I feel
Invincible
like the
finale.
game. What was that? Sorry.
So I'm so excited for you to see the Invincible finale. It's fantastic.
Oh, dude. I read the comics, so I
Hey, that's three
think
of us.
Well, I
know more
read
or
the
less,
first
you know.
first few issues, and that was. Then I got busy.
Oh, okay.
It's I didn't read all. I should say I didn't read all of it. I read at least what is the first season for sure.
I've got them all.
Because it went on for quite a bit. I fell off my comic reading game pretty big the last couple of years. I was going steady for a while, and I honestly I've gotten like busier than I realized and have not been able to just like catch up with all the stuff I wanted to. But
Yeah.
I have a few literally like I have a few books like next to me that I haven't even cracked open yet.
I highly recommend investing in Invincible because it's over now. It's done. It's a complete
Right.
series. So
Did you finish it, Phil?
you get a beginning and an end. I have not finished it yet. I am right around issue 100-ish.
Oh yeah. I've got them sitting there. I just need to get to them now. I've got the big compendiums.
I was like deep into Saga a couple of years ago. I was like, multiple volumes in at the point where like I think there was at like volume like 6 or 7 or something. And even that I just fell off. Like it just kept going and I was like, oh my god.
That's a lot.
I can't keep track. But it was such a great read. Like the first few volumes are truly some of the best comics ever made.
There's one part in the comic that I'm really sad that we never got. Well, there's two parts that really stuck with me. The first one is William and how he gets angry every single time someone calls him Will. And he's like, is it so hard to call me William? My name is William. It's not Will. It's not Bill. Is it so hard to just call me William? And I love that about his character, and you don't get that in the show, which makes me sad. But the other part that I really love is when Invincible is, again, weirdly enough, with William, and they're checking out colleges and stuff, and Invincible disappears when something happens on one of the campuses, and William comes to the realization of, wait, you're Invincible? And he's like, no, what? And he's like, sure you're not. You disappeared right when everything started. All of a sudden, Invincible flew in and saved the day, and then you came back out of nowhere. You're Invincible. Don't lie to me. And then he's like, please take me flying. Obviously paraphrasing, but that's one of my favorite parts. However, the reason that the name thing stuck with me is because, you know, we don't often put a lot of importance on people's names and like their preference of them being said. In fact, people often get just like random nicknames from people because it's a way for people to identify them. It's a way for people to, you know, make it easier on themselves if they are unsure how to say it or whatever. But what it taught me is like, is it so hard to just ask what someone's preferred name is? Like what, you know, they
It's
would
the same.
like to be called?
It's just like pronouns or anything. It's realizing
Right.
that it's about respecting the other person and stepping out of your own comfort zone to like
100%.
to give someone else like respect. And it's a lot of the time it's not even intentional that it's like, you know, we don't give people that space. So the more that we are aware of that stuff, the better.
Absolutely.
And something I want you to try while you're in a space with no enemies, because you haven't utilized it just yet, and it's gonna do you wonders. Is jumping and swiping while pressing down.
Yeah, there we go. That's the Rogue
Because
Legacy
you
move
will be
right
able to hit dudes like when you were jumping over the guy before, like when you were just hitting side to side, you can also hit him in the head. Same thing, and you can jump on enemies. You can hit anybody from above. Like you can get over these bugs and hit them up top if they fly under you, and you can jump over them. It's just another way to like use the space.
Nice.
Once
And
you
you
have
can
the air
bounce off
dash.
people and stuff like that.
Yep, exactly. Once you have the air dash, like if you were to get hit and you were about to fall on those spikes and you had enough time, you could hit down with your nail and bounce off of the spikes without getting hit, and then like dash to safety.
Love a good
What
dash.
controller are you playing on?
PS5.
Gotcha. It just sounds different than what I'm used to, which
Does
makes
it
sense.
have any kind of I guess it wouldn't have any of the like upgraded haptic feedback stuff for this game, right?
The shock feels a
No.
little bit different to the PS4, but not like specific haptic stuff. Yeah.
To
It's
be
a
fair, I
very
don't-
dense shock though in this game. I feel like it really rumbles your controller with this game. Like you feel it.
Yeah.
Have you played
Yeah, every time you break
Rogue Legacy,
something
Ryan?
or-
Which one?
Have you played Rogue Legacy?
No. What's that?
Oh, dude, you'd love it. It's so good.
Rogue Legacy. I'll look it up.
Here, I'm DMing you right now.
It's one of my favorite games of all time. It's so good.
Just so you don't forget, I'm gonna DM you Rogue Legacy and Salt and Sanctuary.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
It's pretty much just a procedural roguelike, but it's got upgrade mechanics so that when you die each run, you can actually upgrade your health, get new move sets. You can get like double dash, flying abilities. You can get all sorts of stuff. It's
Right on.
really, really fun, cool art style, and it just feels like one of those, like a modern day retro game. It's really cool.
Yep, it sounds like it's up my alley for sure.
I think I've got it on just about every single platform. It's on
Did you
Vita.
play,
It's on Vita too, and Switch.
Did you play Katana Zero?
Yes, that was
Oh,
great.
I love that game.
So good.
Yeah, that one really special. I played that one recently for the first time. They're like a couple of like those kinds of games are like totally my cup of tea.
Did you both see the State of Play this week, the Ratchet and Clank?
I have not watched it yet.
I saw a little bit of it. I mean, it looks insane.
So good. Yeah, if
For
they can
sounds
keep
like
that same sort
amazing,
of
too.
Ratchet humor with those those graphics, art style, and gameplay, like that's
It
gonna be
looks like a Pixar
incredible.
movie. It's insane.
So
It
good.
looks better than a Pixar movie. Like it's the layers of like that futuristic city. It's bonkers.
Yeah. That dash mechanic where it just you see multiple versions of them, it's so cool, so creative. But that's what I love about Insomniac, and especially with Ratchet, is just their creativity when it comes to, you know, both motion of the gameplay, but also like the weapons and everything they do in it. It's so unique and so cool. Like you know, in the old
Yeah,
games
that
like
is
Mr.
it,
Zircon, and like you've got, you know, the pixelator shotgun and all those crazy weapons that, like, you got the ones, is it the dancing ball, the disco ball, where all of a sudden the enemies are
it's the
dancing on
ultimate like
screen.
cartoon.
It's so
It's
cool.
just such a cartoon, and
Exactly, it's
it's
like
like
Roger
it
Rabbit or something.
embraces it. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was gonna say. It embraces that loony Roger Rabbit, just
Yeah.
larger than life.
And the
So
worlds are so cool.
Oh my god, that was a lucky drop.
On a PlayStation, PS I Love You XOXO, Greg was wondering if who would win between Ratchet and Kratos. And Blessing was really hard on the idea that Ratchet would win. And, he talked about the pixelator gun and the chicken gun and stuff like that. But, I mean, it's really hard for me to decide who would win that fight because, A, it's like comparing apples to oranges. But B, like, Kratos has literally died and fought his way back out of hell to go to, like, come back to life.
It depends how close he can get to Ratchet, you know? If he can get in there, dude, he's got a chance. But otherwise, yeah, Ratchet, you know, with his weapon arsenal, it's.
He's also got the axe. He's got range.
Yeah, exactly.
Now he does. He definitely has range now. That's for sure. It's just, it's interesting. And even the Blades of Chaos have a pretty good swing depth to them, so he's definitely got range.
I mean, I do really want to see that fight. I want to see Ratchet throw out the disco ball and just see Kratos just breaking it down.
Yeah, because I wonder, even as a chicken, I mean, the man gets crushed by a mountain, and he's like, what? You know, like, I don't know. It's just an interesting thing to me.
So this guy, you actually can't fight yet because you have to. There's a certain ability you'll get that
the
will.
dash one.
No, it's like a basically like a fireball.
It's a
like
Hadouken.
it's like a soul blast. Yeah, it's a Hadouken
That
basically.
sounds so cool. Give me all the cool
And
stuff now.
basically, like the trick to it though is that it costs souls. So like the meter that you're filling up, right now when you like beat people up, is basically what you would use to use the ability. So it's this really cool thing where like if you're in a room with a bunch of guys and you have that ability enabled, the more you like just like hit them regularly, the more you can also like build that up so you can like fire one off, hit a guy a bunch of times, like build it up, fire one off, whatever it needs to be. And it's like a much stronger blast than like just one swipe with your nail.
Yeah, it's very powerful for sure.
Yes. It's my Caterpillar team.
So, Kitty Cat Gundam 81 says, I understand about the name thing. I use the nickname Alex most of the time, but a lot of people have that as their name. So, I have to use my real name when that happens. Yeah, 100%. That's also like Jess. Jess is really common because you've got Jessies that go by Jess, you've got Jessicas that go by Jess. So...
And you're like already a pro at this game.
I'm loving it. I'm loving this game. This is great.
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he has a lot of experience in games like this. Like he was saying Rogue Legacy earlier. And
I'm so
when
excited
he said
for Ryan to play that.
The
So
downward
excited.
slash like Rogue Legacy, I was like, you know what? That's true. The controls in that game are so tight.
So I think if you go right and then down...
Yep. Just like we did to go back to your your corpse that one time. If you go right this way and then down.
So that
and then
guy's
kinda-
probably gone now, isn't he?
Yep,
Oh, he's still
probably
there.
gone.
But he'll say something different, will he?
No. It just means that you haven't progressed past the
Okay.
next point for him to leave yet.
Yeah, I'm so hyped for Ratchet. It's going to be awesome. It's one of my favorite series of all time. So if we can, if they can stick the landing on that, I just can't wait.
I think it'll actually be the first one. If I don't have a PS5 yet, but that'll be the first one that I play.
Yay! Well, it sounds like they're
Definitely
making it for people,
grab it.
obviously fans of the series, but also newcomers as well. So
It seems to. I think in general that is the move for almost every kind of content these days, from film to game to show to whatever. I think it's like, which I think is a smart move, is make something that is, even if it has a built-in fan base from whatever its maybe original form is, make something that is both digestible to a new person and also something to like a deeply ingrained fan is a skill unto itself. And I don't think necessarily like something that waters down a thing. I think it's just about executing it in the right way. And this guy said,
I got impatient. No.
Yep. That's it though, dude. Like that's this game, and it happens to all of us. And
You're
like,
right.
that's
It's a dance. It's a dance. You got to get that rhythm down.
It's so interesting, and like the patience is everything. Because like even when you're really good at it, it's just one slip up. I always used to just say fail better.
That's great.
Can I post a link in the chat, Ben? Is that a
So
thing?
Yeah, sure, buddy.
Ben, so if you do the map again.
Can I see myself on here yet?
Not yet, but what you can see in the center, there's the giant horned
Yeah.
thing. There's like the big room with the horns. That's the boss.
So
So
pretty
that's where you
much-
want it.
If you ever stuck, I guess head up is probably the advice. Is it head up and then you can find out where you are based on the map, right?
Yeah, it's always good to like get towards the where the original centerpiece is, which
Yeah.
is like how you drop down that well.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the best place to center yourself, and then you can figure it out. But once you get the charm to like see yourself, which is you should be able to get it soon. I don't remember how.
Oh, so that's actually what I think you can buy it pretty early.
I
So
should have
then,
bought
yeah,
that.
you should. So you
So-
right now you need to get your soul back anyway, so you could probably afford it.
There's one.
Yeah, that's
thing-
why basically buy everything as soon as you can. Like go out of your way to kill stuff to buy everything in that shop, because it will only make the game more streamlined for you.
Yay.
So go to your map real quick, Ben. Other than the charm that shows you where you're at on the map, there is another thing where looking around here you can see like there's the boss icon and stuff. There's the caterpillar den. There's the main kind of thing where you met that guy. But there are certain things that you can get, little map markers that'll show you like a bench or a fast travel point, and those start to become really easy ways to figure out where you are.
Cool.
If you don't want to use the charm, because then you'll know, oh, this is the room for my bench, so that I just saved at. So if I go 2 rooms left and 1 room down, then I'll be where I need to go. Stuff like that.
Not this time, buddy. Not this time.
But yeah, as Ryan said, anything that you can buy it when you can buy it, because it'll help you. There's no detrimental things to buy, really.
And it's the only reason that you collect Geo.
Right. Yeah, because you're not leveling up like souls.
So Ryan, if there was like one dream project that you'd love to be a part of, whether it's a anime, a TV series, a game, what would it be, buddy?
No, I'm weird because I'm one of those guys who I tend to not think that way, because it's usually like it's so impossible to even make that kind of stuff happen. Like it's so out of your control as an actor. Even down to like what auditions you see. Like you don't get to choose if a shows. There's some shows that like you just don't see auditions for at all, and then some you do and other people don't, and vice versa. So it's like to know to like want to be a part of something is almost like detrimental, because it's like just not good for like the health of like, pursuing the thing. And like genuinely the real answer is like, I just love doing the work. Getting to like be a part of a specific project it's never been an objective of mine, because you never quite know what the most fun thing is going to be. You never know who your next character is going to be or what the next project can be. And, usually you're working on a few things at once. So like, it's the kind of thing where like, I'm always getting to live in a few different worlds or characters at the same time. And, it's funny. It's like being part of Genshin and having friends who are like, more prominent roles in that game. When we all got booked and started, working on that game, like none of us knew the game was going to be this big. So it's the kind of thing where you can look at, let's say, like a Last of Us, and put yourself in the position of, forget about it being Troy Baker or whoever, like, let's say you're presented with audition for a project that you've never heard of. It's some weird IP, but it's, maybe from people that you respect the work of. Like, that's kind of my thing, is like, I guess it's more from like watching film and stuff like that, and being an actor in that way, where it's like I'd rather work with a certain director or writer, or so like I want to work with certain creative people. I would love to work with Ori or Kojima, or anybody at the Naughty Dog crew. Like there are places I would love to participate in making stuff, because I think I love what they do. But the next adventure is always the most exciting. So it's like, I like not knowing what comes next and being surprised. I always think there's like something special that, there's the next thing that people are going to love. You can't decide, and, maybe you're like, oh dude, I've always wanted to be a part of this franchise. And then maybe you get to, and maybe it's the worst entry in the franchise, and everybody's like, well, that was, you know what I mean? So it's like, or you could be in the thing like one of my friends, Francesca is in Hades, and talk about like one of the most amazing, just phenomenal games, period. But like that game just exploded in such a way that like nobody knew that was going to blow up in that way. So, and now you think about like anybody looking at that being like, oh man, I wish I was in Hades. It's like, you wouldn't have known, you wouldn't have comprehended, like you wouldn't have known, and nobody knew. So like, so much of it is just honestly being able to do this work at all. Like, I'm incredibly grateful, and like it's just fun. I literally enjoy doing like most mundane like copy read for like like something that you'll never hear, that would be like the equivalent of like commercial work for like in-house in some place. It's like a training video. Like, I have just as much fun doing that as I do working on anime or video games or something, because it's just like I get to do this for a job.
Heck yeah, that's
so
awesome.
cool.
You're playing this really smart, Ben, because every single time you hit an enemy, you get some of your like spirit power back. And so every time you got like a big hit, you would go heal and then start fighting again. That's like the perfect way to do it, because you'll build your spirit power back up. If you keep trying to fight, then you're just risking losing more health and not gaining any spirit power, because your spirit power is full. So
All defense, buddy. All defense, yeah. Now that boss should be in here, hopefully.
Yep.
Yeah, and you're gonna kick his ass. You are primed.
I think that's why I quite like Bugsnax when they did that game. Like, it was really cool that there were definitely some veteran voice actors, but there were some really cool up-and-coming voice actors that may not have been huge. It was so cool to see some people get like a big break with that game.
A bunch of my friends are in that, yeah.
It's so cool.
It's that thing too, right? Where it's like, of course, once they started working on it, I'm sure they were like, oh, this is special, but like, you still don't know that people are going to like it, or it's going to be successful. Like, and that's the thing about anything. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what kind of creative thing, whether it's film, whether you're a writer, whatever it is. Like, even if you love it and you think it's the next best thing, like, it's just up to the world. It's up to, you just let it out, and then whatever happens, happens. And sometimes something that should be great tanks, and sometimes, something that seems mediocre gets huge, and sometimes something blows up years after the fact. And like, so this guy,
Whew.
you'll want to like, it's like a lot of like jump to different sides. When he jumps, try and go to the opposite side of him. Try and like walk under him really quick. Yeah, so like go, yeah, you'll see. And he jumps just like directly in the air, and walk under.
You can't get greedy, eh? Just go for the single shots if you can, eh?
Yeah, it's all you need. And then basically he'll like fall at a certain point, and his helmet will fall off, and then you want to go in and like whack his head a bunch while you can. And he'll get a little bit more intense. He'll like start whacking in different directions, and some stuff will come down from the ceiling. All right, so here.
What is going on? Why does it looks like a kitty cat coming out of his head?
Oh, don't worry. It gets
454. Hello.
Hey, welcome along to the stream. Thanks for coming and hanging out.
Those things you can hit out of the sky towards him if you manage
so
to.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, dude, you're rocking this.
Man, we're crushing it. Good job, Tim. I'm proud of us. We're doing great. Oh.
We are doing it. Entirely you, but.
Oh, with all the advice and help, you know?
This is great.
This is the favorite I've ever been, so this is awesome.
Hell yeah.
Get the kitty.
It's a grub. It's a grub.
Get the grub.
Kitty grub. We call it the kitty grub.
Yeah, you're in like the perfect scenario for this fight, dude.
Ah. Ah.
He's almost done.
Kitty Cat Gundam 81 with the awesome kitty emote there.
So there, like with these jumps, try and go to the other side of him. Try and you'll go to the opposite side of his hand.
No. Okay, don't heal.
Yeah, that's something also you'll learn with certain bosses is when you think you have time to heal, you definitely don't.
Ah, no! We're doing so well. Oh, no.
So the one thing I saw you doing, like when he was jumping up in the air to hit you, that's when you wanted to go under him to get to his other side.
Yeah, I was trying to get
the healing threw me off. I tried to heal twice and just didn't have enough time. I think that's
and it's something that naturally happens in this game every time is once you start to heal and get hit, it is a downward slope of like panic. Like, and you're just like, oh fuck, do I heal now? No, can't. Oh fuck, shit. And then you just keep dying.
I think you're right near the boss. If you just go up and then just to the left, I think you're there already. Yep.
Nice. Okay, let's beat this guy.
And you don't have to fight this guy here. You can just run past him if you want to.
I've got to teach this guy a lesson, you know.
You have wronged me, sir. You will die here and now.
Ah. Oh, look at that. That was a thing of beauty.
God. I'm almost jealous, honestly. Like, I remember dying so much in this area when I first started playing.
Now, if either of you need to take off as well, I appreciate we're probably going a little bit long for you, but I'll try and take out this boss before we end the stream. But if either of you need to take off as well, please feel free to.
If you're going until the boss, I'm down. That's the perfect end-credit scene moment.
Exactly.
For me.
I feel like we need to, you know.
I believe in you.
Thanks. We got this. We can do it.
Insomniac is a flex always. Yeah, you're not wrong. But I think it's especially so. If you check out the Twitter link I posted in Twitch chat.
Oh, is it the ray tracing eye?
No, it's not the ray tracing eye, but it's Shinobi from Twitter posting all of the extremely dense backgrounds for the game, where it's just like environments just look so dense and packed with stuff. It's just so cool. The depth that they were able to create in the environments because of the added power of the PlayStation 5. And then, yeah, there's a scene on the internet where you've got Ratchet holding up his hand. It's like he's got a gauntlet on or something. And if you zoom in on his eyeball in the screenshot, you can see the metal hand reflected in his eye. Like that's how advanced the ray tracing stuff is in this game.
It's amazing, dude. That's so cool.
It's so wild that this is just the beginning too. Like,
Oh, 100%.
when we get to like the Last of Us 2 stage of the PS5, it's gonna be bonkers.
Yeah. Yeah, so one of my biggest things for this generation of consoles and what I've talked about is these consoles aren't powerful enough to run ray tracing in their full glory. So what this round of consoles is going to teach us is how to utilize ray tracing or how to optimize ray tracing in certain ways so that you can get the most out of ray tracing. Whereas on PCs, that was never really a key component because...
Oh my god, I was so lucky.
Yeah, it was. Ray tracing is such a new technology, and B, PCs are the workhorse, and they're developing games, like alongside the games that we're getting on console. So the idea of prioritizing ray tracing has never been completely there, but now that consoles have that technology,
To the other side,
now
Oh,
ray tracing is going to be a priority. And I think it's really cool. And yeah, I totally agree that like when we're at that 7-8 year mark of this generation, there's going to be some crazy stuff. I also think that this is going to be an extremely long console generation because of COVID.
Definitely things are taking longer to release and get made and everything because of it, for sure. It's funny because like I took such a long time away from playing games and then came back to it with the Switch first, that I'm so like, as much as I adore like these like super high intense graphics and ray tracing and all this stuff, like it's so not me like the necessity of like moving games forward. Like I feel like that's just one part of like some aesthetic of games, like the idea of what they're doing with like Ratchet and Clank, hell yeah, or what they're doing with The Last of Us and stuff like that. It's such a niche unto itself versus a game like this that like would never need ray tracing. Like would it look super
Jump down,
super
Ben.
like
What the hell
after
just
you heal.
happened?
Jump down after you heal.
kicked his
Oh,
ass
no.
is what happened.
Oh god.
You're good.
Wow, we did it!
Proud of you.
Yay!
What's funny is if you watch his mallet, like after you pick this up, just like hang around
Yeah,
for a
go-
second and walk over to
Yeah.
his mallet.
Just kind of chill next to his mace for a minute.
Mace, thank you. Mallet.
Bloop.
Oh, it sounds so cute. What's it doing?
Oh no! Poor mace!
Is it giving me
He
anything?
was just gonna walk away. He wasn't gonna attack you.
Oh, sorry.
He's just trying to get away.
Oh, I've never seen someone be so cruel to the mace!
Oh no! I'm so sorry. We could have been homies, we could have like gone out for a drink, just had some fun.
And then he just pissed him off.
I'm sorry, dude.
It's a really funny thing about this game is like stuff like that like will happen whether or not you notice it. So it's like the world is very much just going to like exist, and like you'll miss certain things sometimes. Like I missed plenty of stuff my first playthrough, and then the second time around I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so
Tom
much for all your help,
Dak,
both of
99.
you. Before we head off, though,
Hell yeah.
where can people find you, Ryan? Where can people find your work?
The easiest place to find me now is on Twitter at Ryan Colt Levy, and here on Twitch as well. But I'm far more active on Twitter at the moment, and got a bunch of cool announcements coming up real soon. So definitely keep a lookout if you're into the voice acting stuff.
Yes, I can't wait, dude. I'm so excited. So cool.
Dude, thank you so much for having me on.
Oh,
It
it's
is
been a
always a
blast.
pleasure
Thank
to hang
you.
with you.
Absolutely, it's been awesome, dude. Thank you. And Phil, what about you? Where can people find you, buddy?
Same thing. I'm pretty much on Twitter exclusively at Phil J Woodward on Twitter. You can find me on Twitch at Philip J Woodward as well. Other than that, that's all I'm doing right now.
Sweet. Well, thanks again, buddy. Thanks for coming and hanging out.
Heck yeah.
And that has been the finale of Please Be Excited Plays. We'll have some more streams coming up soon, so yeah, keep it locked to twitch.tv/PleaseBeXcited Plays for that, or Please Be Excited for that. But yeah, have a fantastic weekend, everyone. Woo!
Cheers, friends. Thank you.